Hey guys, and welcome back to the Combination Classroom. Today we're going to be learning about how to choose a motherboard after you have chosen your processor for your new computer or your computer upgrade. Now, you'll see my tree, I guess you could call it a tree here, is kind of basically the same as it was in choosing a processor. You have your needs: gaming, homeschool office, home theater PC, upgradability. I left out future uses because upgradability and future uses are kind of the same thing. And you have price range: low, mid to high. Now this will also account for your power as well, which there's not really any power. Don't worry about that sound. It was just ventrilo. I should start closing that whenever I'm recording. But there's no real horsepower to a motherboard. It's mostly choosing the right socket. I can't believe I spelled socket wrong. North bridge. Yeah, I'm misspelling everything. And any extras that you might want. Those are the three main things that you're going to look at when choosing a motherboard. I'm sorry, I can't talk tonight. So, as per usual, I have Newegg open, because Tiger Direct is not my favorite place to shop, although I will shop there every now and then, when there's a better deal on Tiger that I can't get on this website. Oh, excuse me. But if you go to Newegg and you go over here to computer hardware, now I already have my processor picked out. I can just go to it in my cart here, because I am in the current process of buying parts for a new computer, building myself a new computer, and yeah, I am going with the i7 2600K. So we're gonna open this up. We're gonna go back. That's a combo, so it won't really be that expensive. The 2600K is 320, if you remember from my last video. But if you have your processor open in a new tab and you go to details, this is everything you need to know about how to choose the right motherboard for you. And it might not be everything, but it's mostly what you need to look at. So what we're going to look at is, obviously, it's an Intel, and this is the main thing you're going to want to look at. This is what you're going to base your motherboard off of, is the CPU socket type. Now the CPU socket type for this particular this particular processor is LGA 1155. And in the current line of processors, there's LGA 1156, LGA 1155, and LGA 1366. And they're going to add another one, which is going to, I believe, cancel out the LGA 1156 socket, which that socket is going to be LGA 2011. But once you have your CPU socket type figured out, you're going to, now bear in mind, this will be different for a lot of people. This could be LGA 1366 if you're going for a high-end performance machine, or it could be LGA 1155 if you're going for a second generation Core i series, or if you're going for an older generation Core i series, it will be LGA 1156. I would recommend staying away from LGA 775 because they're outdated, old, and 2 or 3 generations old. So I would recommend staying away from those. But once you know your socket, you can go back here, and on Newegg, this will be a little different on Tiger Direct, but not too much. You'll go over to computer hardware, and you will find motherboards. Just click on motherboards. Now we already know we're getting an Intel processor. This is why we pick our processor first, because if you pick your motherboard first, then you're not going to know, well, you will know, but you get a more general idea of what other parts you need to get if you pick your processor first. Because you might not know if you're going with an Intel processor or an Intel motherboard or AMD motherboard until you pick out your processor. So, we already know we're choosing an Intel motherboard because we have an Intel processor. You want to scroll down to CPU socket type. See how that matches up to this? Okay, and you want to choose whichever one of these that you have. Now 478, let's just open that. Let's see what that is. Because 478 is like old. This was back when Pentium 4s were in style back in 2003-ish. Maybe a little later than that. Maybe 2004 or 5. This was way back in the day. And computers age like milk. Forgive the bad Jeff Dunham reference, but computers age like milk. You can literally go to a store, buy a computer, and walk out the door, and it will be obsolete. There will be a new technology out, and you will have an obsolete technology. But stay away from 478, because that is very old. 775 we already talked about, and these are just, I don't even know what those are. They're probably really old, too. But we want LGA 1155. These top three for the moment. But you have to match up what your processor is to what's on the motherboard. So, I pick 1155. Now, I'm an Asus fanboy. I prefer Asus. But there are better choices for people who aren't going to be doing hardcore stuff. Asus is more higher end gaming, home theater PC, video editing type stuff. So, if you're going to only be using this for homeschool and office, I would recommend a cheaper board. Sorry, I didn't mean to click that. And that would mean choosing, go over here to sort by, lowest price. Sorry. Okay. Now, Foxconn, I know nothing about. BioStar and ECS are very good budget brand motherboards. I don't know what Jetway is. ASRock is a good brand, but they make some higher end, some lower end. These three, Asus, MSI, and Gigabyte, are going to be your higher end motherboards. Anything else is going to be high end to low end. And, well, ASRock is kind of the middle ground, and then anything below that is going to usually be mid to low end. I'm going to see what I can find in ASRock, because at the moment I'm looking for a budget board. Now, there are a few Northbridge chipsets that we can choose from with the second generation Core i7 20. Sorry. There are a few chipsets, Northbridge chipsets, we can choose from with second generation Core i processors from Intel. There is H67, P67, and Z68. Those are the three main ones. Now, with H67, you can use Intel's built-in graphics. They have graphics built into the processor called Intel HD Graphics, and it's actually built into the chip. You can use that. Let's see if I can find it. There's an H67 right there. So let's look. You can use that, those onboard graphics, so you can plug your monitor directly into one of these ports. The trade-off is you can't do overclocking on H67. Now for P67, you can do overclocking, but you can't use Intel's onboard graphics to display anything. I'll just pull up a P67 board here. Here's a P67 board. I wouldn't cheap out on the board too much, even if you're only going to be doing office work and stuff. I would go with a fairly decent quality board that you know is going to last. But as you can see, I don't need to make the picture bigger. It's big enough. There are no video out. There's no DVI, there's no VGA, there's no HDMI out on this board because it's a P67 chipset. Now, a Z68 board, the Z68 chipset gives you the best of both worlds. You can use you can use Intel's onboard graphics while still retaining the ability to overclock. Now, if you know you're going to have a dedicated graphics card in there, a discrete dedicated card, then you don't really need to go with Z68 or H67. Yes. You should probably go with P67 because you already know you're going to have a discrete graphics card that will display your monitor. But for me, well, let me get away from that a second. The brands I would choose for a mid to low end PC for office, school, and internet browsing and email are ASRock, BioStar, ECS, and maybe Zotac. I don't think Zotac makes full-size boards, though. See, Zotac is mostly these mini ITX boards, and you don't want that. So stay away from Zotac. I lied. But ECS, BioStar, and ASRock, those would be the three I would recommend for mid to low end. Now, mid to high end, I would recommend Asus, MSI, Gigabyte, or Intel, and EVGA. I'll throw that one in there. EVGA is mostly a supplier of video cards, but they do make motherboards. I'm sorry, that blue's really annoying me. Sorry, I couldn't help it. So, now that you have that foreknowledge, let's just go back. I want P67 chipset. Since I'm an Asus fanboy, I'm going to go Asus. Now, Asus has, in this area, in the P67 1155 area, they don't have anything under $100. The closest you can get to the $100 mark is the Asus P8 P67 LE motherboard. This is the motherboard I'm going to be buying. It's $200. This is more of a workhorse motherboard. It's the Asus Sabertooth P67, which I plan on getting next week. This weekend. This weekend is when I'm ordering this, and yeah, just this, I believe. So hopefully, maybe, if I don't fail, you can expect an unboxing video of that. Don't hold me to that, because I don't know how that'll go. But you want to choose something that's going to suit your needs. It's going to suit your price range and do everything that you want it to do. I would recommend, if you're going Asus, the P8 P67 Pro or the Sabertooth P67. Those are high-end to mid-end boards. And if you want a lower-end board, go with the Asus P8 P67. There's no after title, it's just P8 P67. Or you could go MSI or Gigabyte. Those are two very good board companies. But keep in mind, they also make video cards. I don't know how long they've been making motherboards between the pair of them. I know Asus makes video cards, but I think they were making boards well before they started making video cards for companies. But that's really all I have to say on the subject of choosing a motherboard. I don't really know what else there is I could say, except make sure that your socket type lines up. It supports the right amount of, or the right type of RAM, which I didn't go over. So if I'm choosing the Asus Sabertooth P67, you want to click on Details and check Memory Standard. You'll want to check the memory standard, and this one says DDR3 1866, and that's overclocked. 1800, that's overclocked. 1600, I believe, is overclocked. 1333 and 1066. These two are both normal frequencies, and my processor both supports 1066 and 1333, so I'm good in that area. And you want to make sure you get the right chipset, as per what you are going to be doing. See, I'm planning on overclocking, but I know I'm going to have a discrete graphics card in the board. That's why I'm going with P67. Also, the board just looks cool. So, that's all I really have to say. hope you stuck with it. I know it was a long conversation, but I plan on getting better at these. I'm kind of just winging it at the moment. I have this, but you know. So thanks for watching. If you stuck with it, I hope to see another video tomorrow. And tomorrow we will be talking about how to choose random access memory, or RAM for short, or just memory. So thank you. I bid you adieu, and have a good night.